Hello, everybody. My name is Eddie Edgeworth. I'm the CTO of Quantech, and I'm a Databricks MVP. And today, I'm here to talk to you about monetizing your analytics through Databricks Clean Rooms. And so $3.1 trillion is, every single year, is what the IDC says the world loses or forfeits because data, your models, your code are trapped in silos without working together. And this is what I guess is, sorry, and there's various reasons why this happens, but ultimately, you know, it's down to this, I call it the collaboration paradox. Your chief compliance officer doesn't necessarily hate you, but he might say your idea. You might have this wonderful idea, but it's a non-starter in his eyes, and you might have to put it in the compliance bin because it doesn't, because it requires you to work with customers or partners or even your competitors. So this collaboration paralysis happens for a couple of different reasons. Number one is regulatory, HIPAA, GDPR, CCPA, Basel III. Again, your chief compliance officer may just not be able to implement your idea. You can't implement your idea because yeah. And the second one is IP paranoia. Your feature engineering code, your prompts, your proprietary models, these are your crown jewels. And if they escape your company, your edge might evaporate. But the overall cost of this paralysis is forfeited innovation and revenue. And keeping that data siloed results in that $3.1 trillion figure that I mentioned before. So let's go over a few of these real-world examples of why this paralysis happens. The first is, let's go through a fraud detection, a fraud ring. There's 4 global banks. They each see their own transactions, but they're unaware of the existence of a fraud ring that is operating across them. They could combine their signals, but again, regulatory and privacy regulations and IP fears slam that door shut. Criminals are taking advantage of the fact that these banks can't talk to each other. And second, oncology research. Here you have a hospital, a cancer center, who owns patient genomics. And on the other side, a pharma company who owns experimental molecules and drug treatments. They would both benefit from doing a joint biomarker study, but yet HIPAA rules and trade secrets, fears of trade secret loss hinder that collaboration. And as a result, potential life-saving insights are lost or get stalled. And the third one is ad measurement. A retailer's brand team and a media publisher argue over who really drove the sale. Neither party is willing or even allowed to share their raw click streams or their customer IDs, so nobody really has any idea how to properly allocate marketing dollars. Each of these stories is unique, but they all have this common thing and problem. I can't share my rows and my proprietary models. So how do we overcome this? Imagine being able to share rows, your data, your code. You're able to collaborate without ever having to share your data or your code or your proprietary models. That's exactly what these clean rooms make possible. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what a no-trust architecture looks like on Databricks and how that can unlock all of this upside plus entirely new revenue streams. So let's start by talking about how look under the hood, I guess, for how Databricks makes this no-trust architecture possible. And as with everything great about Databricks, I feel it all starts with Unity Catalog and for governance, and then Delta sharing for secure data exchange. But in this step one, we create this clean room, and then you can see that in the upper right here. The clean room is simply just a zero trust enclave. It's a Databricks managed serverless environment, and you can think of it a little bit like a diplomatic meeting room in neutral territory that neither party has admin privileges to. Then second, you contribute one or more of the objects from your Unity catalog, and your collaborator does the same. And these can be tables, these can be code, they can be files, they can be models, what have you. Views, and your collaborator does the same thing. And in this case, participant 1 is sharing a table, and participant 2 is sharing a model that's on a file path. And the nice thing about this is that neither party can see the other's. Participant 2 can't see the actual rows of that table. They can see the schema. And vice versa, participant 1 can see that model exists, but they can't go in and look at the internals or any of the weights or anything like that. So then on the third here, we have the collaborator A submits a notebook. That's the code. Next, and this is the approval mechanism, where you can upload your notebook to this secure space, but there's this implicit approval mechanism where you are not allowed to actually run that notebook. The other party actually gets to run that notebook. And by the way, this notebook is a snapshot in time, so it's not like after you upload it, it can't be edited after the fact. And so this implicit approval mechanism, collaborator B is the one who runs that notebook, and so it's as if he's saying, I've reviewed this notebook, and I understand what it does, what it's going to do to my side of the collaboration, and I approve. And vice versa, collaborator B can also submit notebooks as well. But the output of this is just shared output, and these outputs are typically aggregated, but they don't have to be. They can also be obfuscated. But ultimately, they're saved out, delta shared back to collaborator B's environment in tables that essentially have an expiry date of 30 days. And in addition, there's auditing for everything that happens in these clean rooms. So ultimately, this is the answer to that zero trust problem. So let's go back to those three industry use cases and see how this zero trust architecture can fix them or address them, as we mentioned previously. So the first case that I mentioned was stopping this fraud ring. And then again, in this scenario, let's imagine that Bank A notices that one of their customers has got these mysterious transactions coming from Eastern Europe. And Bank B is noticing that these suspicious withdrawals from an ATM. And in Bank C, it detects some customers had account takeovers. And unbeknownst to all of them, there's this international fraud ring that's operating across them and taking advantage of the fact that they're not communicating. So each bank, and the solution to this is a clean room. Each bank contributes its fraud signals. These can be the actual transactions. They can be obviously PII hashed, or if better yet, they can just submit the behavioral patterns, anomaly flags, fraud signals, things like that. And in this case, this clean room notebook is doing graph analysis to detect, connected components and things like that, where we can identify connections across these institutions. So ultimately, look at the result here. Output is just simply a table of suspicious rings. There's no data that left any of these banks' environment. And the suspicious rings can go into the financial center regulator for review, things like that. And all three parties can benefit. So doing this, the outcome is 35% reduction in fraud, which saves millions of dollars and thousands of customers from the pain of these experiences. The second one, it has human lives at stake. Of course, as we mentioned, these hospitals, a leading cancer center has got genomic data from thousands of patients, including mutations, treatment responses, and survival outcomes. And meanwhile, a pharma company has spent billions of dollars developing experimental molecules and proprietary drugs and proprietary biomarker models and both sides desperately want to collaborate together. But because of HIPAA and those types of concerns, and because maybe the pharma doesn't want to divulge its secret sauce, they're reticent to collaborate. But the clean room can change the game because the hospital is able to share de-identified genomic variants and clinical outcomes. On the pharma side, they're sharing drug targets, trial results, and their proprietary model. And in the clean room, both of those are combined together to be able to generate a tumor marker match and these biomarker therapy matches that are grouped by grouped by diagnosis, and without ever divulging the secret sauce of the pharma or the patient data of the hospital. And so these therapy matches result in patients being able to get added to clinical trials and things like that, which could potentially save their lives. And then in the third example, again, ad measurement is a billion-dollar question for CMOs to keep them up at night. Did my ad campaign actually generate these sales, or would my customers have bought them anyway? Right now, that question just triggers this endless blame game between these two parties. The retailer might say, well, my loyalty program generated that sale. On the other hand, the publisher might say the targeted ads did, and so forth. But meanwhile, 50% of marketing dollars remain potentially wasted because nobody can identify what actually works. And so in this scenario, attribution requires matching customer journeys across companies. And so we have to hash the loyalty, the SKUs or the customer IDs, the loyalty IDs, and so forth, so that we can have some type of a join key. And with that, we can build an ad lift calculation that, where we're joining on those hash customer IDs to be able to compute this incremental lift. And but it's privacy preserving, and so this code is able to do these secure joins using these hashes, so that again, no sensitive data ever leaves each of these parties. And so again, the output here is just improved ROI. So we can actually allocate marketing dollars to the appropriate places and identify by campaign the incremental lift. So these can feed CMO dashboards and BI and so forth. So next, again, I work for Quantech. We are an SI partner. So we help customers do use cases like overcome this collaboration paralysis through use cases such as the ones I mentioned. But we also have produced this, productized this pattern for ourselves. So let me show you how we at Quantech are using clean rooms to solve one of the biggest problems in the data world, which is enterprise migrations. So this is our X2D solution. Our companies desperately want to move to Databricks. Databricks is a fantastic platform, but migrations are typically these 18-month slogs of nightmares of manual code conversion and data validation, the cost of which is prohibitive. And so that's why we built this X2D. It's our AI-driven automated migration framework that's already moved some of the world's toughest data estates to Databricks. It's basically got a few different parts, but ultimately, we have 8 migration agents that handle various portions of the migration, such as doing the project estimation, planning, to the actual migration and validation. And our transpiler converts your legacy code base to Databricks, and that can include workflows, BI tools, data science tools, as well as your data warehouse code. But here's the challenge, the nice thing about it is that with 80% automation, we can reduce that 18 months to a few months and do it at least two to four times faster. But the challenge that we kept having was that, especially during the estimation portion of the project, is we're asking for the customer's code, and they say they can't give it to us. And meanwhile, we have this secret sauce that we don't want to just put in a customer's environment so that they can do this migration themselves and steal our work. So ultimately, we decided to enable this X2D inside of a clean room. So what that looks like, we at Quantech, we bring our transpiler wheel, our libraries, our battle-tested conversion rules, which we've built from hundreds of migrations in the past. And the customer contributes all of their legacy source code, and as I said, that could be their EDW code, orchestration, ETL code, scripts, BI tools, whatever they want to migrate. And that includes data science platforms and so forth. And then ultimately, they just share that from their own Databricks volume. Inside the clean room, our transpiler reads their code and applies our own conversion logic via models and generates and deploys optimized legacy code for Databricks. And so ultimately what comes out is again, a Databricks compliant, compatible legacy estate to Databricks. And so, and again, so ultimately we've been able to convert migration as a service to trust as a service. So for the time I have left, I want to talk about why Databricks is how you can take your proprietary code, your analytics, your secret sauce, and deliver it as a service without the trust barrier. What if you could become a SaaS company overnight, and that's what Databricks kind of makes possible here. So there's 4 reasons why Databricks is a fantastic place to build your SaaS. The number 1 is trust. The Unity catalog provides multi-tenant isolation. Second is Delta sharing, that open protocol that provides cross-cloud analytics. And then Clean Rooms, as we're talking about, is a way for us to co-innovate with other companies and parties without any data movement or loss of your own data and your secret sauce. And finally, the piece we haven't talked about yet is revenue, which is Databricks Marketplace, which provides the global distribution and the billing. So we'll drill into each of these very quickly here. Starting with Unity Catalog. Again, Unity Catalog is the foundation. This is where you secure your objects. Unity Catalog provides the ability to isolate in various levels, depending on how you choose to do it, whether it's at the workspace level, catalog level, schema level, RLS or CLS isolation. Second is the clean rooms, the groundwork, the Delta sharing, which allows you to share your data across in real time without ETL or replication. And that clean room workflow is where, again, we're only sharing the approved objects from our Unity catalog. And again, it never really moves because of Delta sharing. And then finally, no trust is needed because the notebooks are mutually agreed on. They run on that combined data, and neither party sees the other party's data. And lastly, the ability to share and monetize this. We can take the data assets and ultimately add them so you can submit clean room solutions to the Databricks Marketplace and get them listed on there. And so, really all the things on the left there are things that you can submit to Databricks Marketplace today and start to monetize as part of your own solution. And I think then finally, just to kind of pull it all together with the time that I have left, this is how you can turn your analytics into revenue in this age of privacy. Number 1, we as part of this full-blown solution, you create your marketplace listing. Customers see it, they click a button to subscribe. And then you have the ability to approve and provision that clean room. If you decide to do so, it will spin up a dedicated clean room between you. It will set up the secure sharing between either party. And then either party, they submit their components, and then you run a compute job. That compute job can just be a simple notebook with a serverless connection to click run. Or it can be a Databricks workflow that runs in the Collaborator B's environment that runs a clean room notebook task. But ultimately, whatever your solution, the aggregated results or that rolled up output is Delta shared back to the consumer in those output tables. And there's usage logs that go back to you in your Unity catalog so that you can calculate your billing and renewal. So it's really that simple. With the time that I have left, I'll take any questions, but ultimately I just wanted to wrap up by just saying, clean rooms, I believe these are the future, and I believe that you really have the ability to build pretty much anything on Databricks. So with that, if there are any questions, I can take them now. So.